Hi everyone, this is the last wrap-up video for this module, and I would like to start by thanking you all for your consistent efforts in learning and your participation in the weekly discussions. I greatly appreciated your active engagement in this final week's activities. I thoroughly enjoyed reading the variety of perspectives shared in the online classroom. So this week you had two polls that led to two discussion topics, plus an additional discussion around Dr. Bacon's scenario. So let's start by looking at the first poll. Let me share my screen with you. Bear with me for a minute. Okay, so here's the first poll. The question was, which of these strategies would you primarily employ to manage and resolve conflicts or disagreements in a project team? We haven't received too many answers, but there are three of you that opted for the first option, dialogue or communication, and three others opted for the transparency option. We'll have to wait and see what the rest of the class thinks. We'll probably give it a day or two and then have a look and see whether these poll results change. Okay, so let's go to the discussion section. In the online classroom, you were asked to explain your choice, and I thought there were a number of interesting responses to that. Jasmine, for example, detailed her choice. I think Susan had made a similar choice. Yeah, so I think it was interesting to see that you had chosen, these options based on your previous experiences and also what you thought might be the best. And Daniel's, perspective was quite intriguing. He stated that, he believes that communication or dialogue covers most of the choices that are presented in the poll. So here, so look at, so I can't find that poll anymore. Where is it? So here is what the different options are: dialogue, communication, negotiation, proactivity, transparency, mediation, and flexibility. So what Daniel tried to convey in his post is that through communication, most of these could be covered. And that's a very interesting perspective. So please do leave your comments beneath this particular post if you agree or if you have a different perspective. It will be very interesting for everyone, I guess, to discuss this topic. The second poll question was regarding intellectual property. Here is the poll, and the question was, which of these IP types might be applicable to your current research? Here again, we've only received 6 votes this time, so most of the votes went for copyright and 1 vote for patent. Okay, so some great ideas emerged from your discussions on this particular topic. What I found was that some of you were not sure which types of IP would apply to your research apart from copyright. Well, there is usually more than one IP type involved, of course, not in all cases, but quite prominently. in disciplines such as science and engineering. Sometimes the copyright of your research outputs might not belong to you, right? So it could belong to your supervisor, to your institution, or to your sponsor. So someone had sent me an email asking me whether, copyright ownership of works published in journals belong to journals alone. Um, First of all, thank you for that question. And the answer is it depends. If you're going to publish in an open access journal, for example, then the answer is no. As a social scientist and an open education enthusiast, I mostly opt for open access journals to publish my works in, but I do understand that, for example, in the sciences, expectations are quite different. Um, but whatever be the case, before publishing, you should thoroughly research about which journal you want to publish in, who's going to, own your findings, and how you want your findings to be used. If you're interested to find out more about open access journal, then open access journals, sorry, you can have a look at the directory of open access journals. That's a useful website. So the directory of open access journals. So please have a look when you get a moment. Let me type it out. Directory of So this is the one. I love this website. It's super useful, very accurate, and very quick if you want to find a journal to publish in, right? Okay, so that brings us to the final discussion topic, Dr. Bacon's case study. So let's head to Dr. Bacon's case study. Okay. So you were asked to briefly discuss how you would have analyzed the risk and would treat or resolve it. If you remember correctly, this was the activity. It was quite a treat to actually read through the discussion forum this week. They have very, very intriguing responses. So I wanted to appreciate your efforts to start with, despite the fact that you were provided with very limited information on Dr. Bacon's case study. You all were able to identify a variety of potential risks and propose relevant methodological approaches to tackle them. This was therefore, a hypothetical situation that was open for interpretations. And it was nice to see that you had not only shared your views and responded, sometimes to other of your peers, but you also raised some relevant challenges and questions for further probing by everybody. And let's just quickly have a look at some of those interesting posts by each of you. So there you go. Jasmine had quite an interesting post there, which I encourage you to go read and respond to. Angus as well had an interesting point there to make. This was the first time that somebody in the financial and legal concepts for researchers module had identified that there was in fact a risk in the fact that the grant value was only of a certain amount and that it wasn't sufficient enough for the project, and this is absolutely correct. We have Adam that took the pain of illustrating this further. There you go, through a very detailed estimate. He found out that it's probably going to be much, much more than what was suggested in the case study. And this is absolutely correct. We also had another person, Daniel, talk to us about the risk of methane and what that could mean for the project and the stakeholders involved in the project. So very, very nice comments and inputs this week in the discussion forum. So that is basically the sum up. I hope to see further comments from the rest of the class before the end of this final week. For those of you that have completed, your readings for this week and have completed all of your tasks and quizzes, I hope you found the week thought-provoking and helpful in consolidating your learnings from all the previous weeks. If you haven't done so yet, if you still have anything pending to do, well, you have some time left before the end of this module. So please complete your pending activities, respond to comments by peers, share your final remarks about what you enjoyed in this module. Don't forget to complete your week 5 quiz and secure your completion certificate. So there's some information regarding your week 5 quiz right here. So you need to remember that in order to secure your completion certificate, you will have to take your quizzes in sequential order. You need to answer all the questions correctly. Of course, you have multiple attempts to do your quizzes. So all the best with that. Finally, you will also receive a module survey via email. So please take a moment to tell us what you thought about this module. That would really be helpful for our team in improving the module for future participants. With that, we come to the end of this video and this module. I really hope you enjoyed this 5-week journey and found the readings and activities to be valuable. Thank you so much for choosing the Financial and Legal Concepts for Researchers module. It was an absolute pleasure moderating you all. I hope you will join us again in another eGrad module. Thank you again and take care.